If you've ever been to an island bird sanctuary, Tiritiri Mātangi off Auckland, Kapiti near Wellington, Maud Island in the Marlborough Sounds, you'll know how beautiful it is to be in the company of extremely rare native birds. Those sanctuaries can only work, though, if there is not a rat, stoat, weasel or predator of any description living on those islands. So DOC undertake pest extermination campaigns before releasing their precious birds. And one of the poisons they use is called Brodifacoum. It certainly works, but there's concern it may possibly be working too well. Lately, 8 dolphins and roughly 150 penguins have washed up dead on beaches around the Hauraki Gulf, that's Auckland. This follows 3 major dumps of Brodifacoum in the area. Coincidence? Mihi Narangi Forbes tried to find out.
Last month, the Department of Conservation dropped a pesticide called Brodifacoum on 2 islands, Rangitoto and Motutapu. It works, eradicating pests with a deadly efficiency. DOC has now used it on more than 50 islands in total.
These pests are detrimental to native wildlife and really are inhibiting the long-term restoration goals for those 2 islands.
Brodifacoum is a rat poison, killing pests by thinning their blood. Eventually they die from hemorrhaging. DOC's website says the toxin is being widely used in New Zealand. It says that aerial drops are controlled and safe. Members of the public are not so sure.
I've been fishing around Auckland for about 35 years.
Paul Reynolds was fishing off the rocks of Rangitoto Island when he was asked to leave by DOC. He chose to stay.
We looked up as they came, and next minute they were spraying these pellets, firing out of the chopper like nothing on earth, or out of the hopper underneath the chopper, and they were coming in like almost like hail, in immense amounts.
We need to sow bait right up to the coast because we need to target every single mice and rat on those islands. If we don't get bait to every single rodent territory, we'll fail.
And they were not only going on the land, but there was within about 50 metres of shoreline, there were immense amounts going in the water. It was just coming at full velocity.
It's unavoidable that some bait does go into the sea, but the quantities that we're talking about are minimal.
The actual pellet of Brodifacoum looks like this. The outside breaks up like Weet-Bix once it's in the water. The toxin in the middle doesn't. So what happens to the Brodifacoum that ends up in the water?
The poison that doesn't dissolve in the water, it actually binds to the sediment on the ocean floor where it gets broken down by microbial action.
So you're saying there's no chance that any fish are swallowing the pellets as they're falling through the water column?
I would be very happy to have eaten shellfish and fish off Rangitoto and Motutapu immediately after the bait was dropped into the water.
However, a chemical safety report by the World Health Organization found when tested on fish, Brodifacoum is highly toxic. The World Health Authority says that Brodifacoum should only ever be used in locked bait houses and it should never be used near water.
That's correct, and we use it with a lot of caution here. There are strict guidelines and legislation that we have to adhere to.
This little fella here and this one here are in perfect condition. And
Sarah Silverstar studies ecology. She's been finding dead animals for weeks. These are 6 little blue penguins she found after 2 visits to the beach at Waiheke Island 6 weeks ago.
I was really shocked, actually. I felt maybe I'll find 1, maybe 2 at the most, but 6. Yeah, that was a shock. Yeah, and I felt, right, this isn't on. I'm going to do something about this.
She's raising funds to send them offshore for testing.
And I'm not saying it's caused by Brodifacoum either. However, I feel that the incidents that have occurred, maybe they're just a coincidence. You know, either way, it's unacceptable to have this level of deaths and this level of impact in the marine environment. So we need to find out what it is.
What it's looking like is that the pilchards died of a virus. The penguins always struggle at this time of year, and a lot of them die of starvation, and that's what it appears to be in this case. The dolphins also too appear to have been doing it hard over this winter.
Scientists say mass penguin deaths occur naturally, about once a decade, usually in the summer. The last mass starvation was in January 2006. What about the pilchards, the dolphins and the penguins? Have they been tested specifically for Brodifacoum?
An animal that's eaten Brodifacoum bait shows some quite classic symptoms, and the symptoms shown by these animals are completely not related to that.
So have they been tested though?
The symptoms that are shown by those animals shows that it's certainly not Brodifacoum poison.
No, but what I think we're wanting to know is, have you sent those off to the labs and tested them specifically for their pest control?
Yes, those samples have been taken and they have been sent to the labs.
This one here.
The Auckland Regional Council confirmed today that none of the penguins, dolphins or fish were tested for Brodifacoum. It says its experts ruled it out after physical examinations. But Sarah Silverstar says she'll make her own decision based on the results from her own independent penguin tests.
And I would urge everybody to go out there over the next few years and witness the transformations that are taking place there as a result of the removal of pests.